Hello, ladies and gentlemen of the internet and of YouTube, and welcome back to Ringlight Fables. I almost said the wrong game again. It's been basically 2 months for us since we last sat down to play this, so brains are a little rusty, but I am your host and game master, Skijaramaz, otherwise known as Tone Shift. And with me today, we have our full cast of players. For the first time, everyone is here, more or less. We have SepiaWolfe playing Tuki Fletcher, our Crovan thief.
Hello.
She is playing from her phone on account of reasons, so mic quality will be a little lower, but just keep that in mind. We have Mick playing Boron, our half-dwarven fighter.
Greetings.
We have Willyzin playing Ludviek, our Rythari paladin.
What did you begin?
We have Goldwyn playing Minnove, our kobold bard.
Hello.
And joining us for the first time in this adventure, we have... I actually blanked on your name for a second. Impulsive. Say something.
How could you do this to... How could this happen to me?
Right, so quick order. So quick point of order. Also in regards to Impulsive, been very busy. We haven't 100% completed his character sheet. Everything he needs for regular gameplay is there. He's just missing some spells. We can work with that. Also, he is having to play on his phone.
I can make it up as I go along till it's on the sheet.
No. No. There are limits.
I don't know Fireball.
You are a 3rd level Bard of Glamour. I'm pretty sure they don't get Fireball this early. That's like a 3rd level spell, isn't it?
I didn't say it was the spell.
Yeah, but it's invoking, so...
Evocation is the word you're looking for
Evocation.
there, Lion Man.
Yeah. Look, I are English well.
Do you?
He has lighter fluid.
Mi no habla inglés.
Fuck. So yes, I'll be handling any rolls direct from Kari's character sheet to click on them because again, Impulsive is on his phone and it does not play nice with Roll20. So just bear with us, please, on any hiccups that come from that, but otherwise, we should be good to begin. So, allow me to recap where last we left off. So, where last we left off, our intrepid band of adventurers had come to a stop in the small village of Lambsong, in Valreeve's southern reaches, electing to take some time to rest and recuperate after a handful of days on the road. Of particular note, the man they are escorting, named Donald Halkus, is emaciated, having only recently been released from a long and unjust imprisonment in the secret torture dungeons beneath the neighboring village of Canala's Rest. He dearly needs food, rest, and a chance to regain his strength before the party is to press on to their destination of Asmara, the Academy City and capital of Valreeve. Upon arriving in Lambsong, the party was quick to deduce, through the proof of their eyes and by asking around a bit, that the village was in preparations to host a weekly town-wide party of sorts, a means of keeping spirits high and the community tight-knit. But also, the party discovered the presence of a mercenary group in the village who, according to Jenni, the local innkeeper, are protecting the town from a monstrous creature known as a Lugarith, a feral beast from the world below. The situation appears to largely be under control, however, and so the adventurers decide to avail themselves of the festivities. During the discussions, they learned of a musical performance and accompanying dance slated to take place that night, an open stage night. It was during this revelation that they met a kobold named Minnove Ringdancer, a red scale with a sitar in hand, who planned to perform that night. Curious about the party, she asked to tag along while they enjoyed the attractions. Boron was a bit less than enthusiastic about this, having had ill-fated encounters with kobolds in the past, but Minnove was unperturbed. Over the following hours, games were played, competitions and merry times were had, culminating in the musical performance, where Minnove managed to coerce her new friends into joining her on the stage for some improvisational musical goodness. And well done it was, with Minnove leading the way in a soulful, heartfelt melody, almost resembling a lullaby more than a party song. When at last there was no more music to be played, no more dances to be had, and no more meals or drinks to be consumed, the party withdrew to the Lambsong Inn, where they tucked in for a night of much-needed rest. But curiously, there was someone missing. For Minnove had found a friend during her short time in Lambsong, one who was absent when the rest of the party arrived, who was meant to play alongside her. But he was nowhere to be seen, and as the sun rises on a grim, gray new dawn, there is still no sign of him. Alarmed and uneasy, Minnove stepped into the streets of Lambsong to search for him. Alas, she had no luck. And before her search could evolve into anything more than a single asked question of a random passerby, a new and unwelcome development began to spread through the town, rocking it to its core. The beast has struck again. Its newest victims are the barrows moths, who live in a small abode on the northern end of the village. Word is that there are 2 bodies, the husband and wife of the household, with no sign of their young son. Eventually, word reaches the rest of the party in the inn, where Tuki and Ludviek are up with Donal, but Boron is decidedly still asleep. Jenni grabs a dagger and rushes to the scene, while Ludviek moves to wake Boron, and Tuki goes after Jenni. Meanwhile, outside, Minnove rushes to the Barrows Moth's household to investigate the incident. The abode, already locked down by the mercenaries hunting for the Lugarith, that's where Minnove is now, greeted by the sight of a towering and heavily armored Kraven man, armed with a massive glaive slung across his back, stepping out of the visibly battered and broken into abode. That is where we left off. And so that is where we shall begin, with the Kraven man affording you little more than a suspicious glare before hissing in pain, his left hand flashing up to grip his upper forearm, where a stain of blood is still visible. So, we begin with you for the moment, Minnove.
Hello, alright. Minnove is gonna, look over the Kraven for her. Be like, I can heal. Are you okay? Give me a second. And she's gonna try and go through her pockets while she grabs her little her ring
Ringstone.
She's going to her ringstone, and she's going to say, All right. Heal. Just outward.
All right.
And with that, she's going to be casting Healing Word.
Okay.
On the gentleman.
Healing Word. So, before the Kraven can even get a word in, you extend your hands out and the magic flows out of your fingers and into his bleeding arm. He sort of tenses momentarily at the surprise act of magic, but then gradually relaxes as the healing magic does its work and eases his discomfort. He relaxes somewhat. Huh. Well, thank you. It's not every day an act of kindness comes from one of your kin.
Thank you. Well, Minnove obviously is very, like, distraught with her words and with everything around her.
Right.
She's like, was there anything inside? Absolutely, like, anything at all?
2 corpses ravaged. And absent a third.
Any clues? Anything of sort? Like, where's the child?
I don't know. My tracker's working on it.
Like,
my tracker is working on it. Calm yourself. Right now I know as much as you do.
Sorry. Anything I can do to aid in this? I have magic. That's about the only thing I have that can aid.
The offer is appreciated, little one, but I do not know you. I'd ask that you simply stay out of my and my men's way.
You all had so long to find this beast. Where were you all during the festivities?
Make a persuasion check for me.
Persuasion. Where are you?
17, that's good. If you must know, we had tracked the beast down into the wilds. We set a trap for it. Unfortunately, we made a mistake. My hunter had been operating under the assumption that this Lugarith was a juvenile. It's not. It's an adult. Our trap was insufficient. It broke free. Damn near killed me. And then when it lost track of us, it stormed off here to take out its frustrations on the first people it could find.
Minnove's gonna look at the torn down house. Ripped to shreds, I'm assuming.
The house, the main structure of the house is largely standing, but like through the window you can see that there are signs that there was a fight in there, and you can smell the blood. Mm-hmm. But like the house itself is still standing. It's more like a Tasmanian devil blended through the interior rather than a bulldozer knocked the whole structure down. It's still there.
Alright. Minnove's gonna be like, well, if your trapper, or your tracker, whatever the hell you say is looking for this beast, obviously you can't do it alone if it overworked you all. Like, I will get in your way. I will. Because Minnove is just gonna kind of like walk past, be like, how did it? She's honestly like a loss for words for the most part. Being like, I have to find this child.
So at around this time, I'd say that Jenni and Tuki are arriving on the scene. So, Tuki, you're sort of hot on Jenni's heels, having left Ludviek behind to get Boron. You sort of come onto the scene. And you see all this, and you see Minnove talking to this taller Crovan gentleman, very broad-billed, glaive slung across his back. Like, being a Crovan yourself, you can read his facial cues probably far better than Minnove can. You can already clock that he looks visibly frustrated.
Okay, Minnove, are you okay? You look quite upset.
Hello, Tuki. Yes. I'm sorry, I didn't get your name, sir.
Jaka.
Bless you.
Hardly the time for jokes, ma'am.
You're right. Well, I was speaking to him. The beast came free from their trap. They caught it, but it came free. We're dealing with an adult, apparently. And 2 are dead. 1 is missing. And
Is there anything we can do?
well, according to big, striking, tough man over here, we'll only get in his way. But that's what I intend on doing.
Look, tracking this thing down is why my people and I are here. You're not one of my people.
You're doing quite a shit job at it, aren't you?
Do you think I don't know that?
I think you well do know that, and that's why you're a little bit of ticked about it, which obviously willingly so. But you have to understand, these people are scared. Frightened. This isn't just some job that you have just to do. These are people's lives. A child is missing, and you are here holding your wounds,
if you could
waiting for some tracker. Go on.
He gives you a very fierce glare for a second. Every word you've just said is something I am keenly aware of. I do not require a stranger to parrot it back at me again. I already have it rattling in my skull. As it is, as much as I appreciate your earnest desire to help me and my people, you need to understand that as far as I'm concerned, you are an... Let me finish.
I'm not helping you. I want to make that very clear.
Fine, but let me finish what I'm saying. At this point, anyone else who gets involved, as far as I'm concerned, is a civilian. If you step in, you'll be getting involved and potentially putting yourself directly in the path of fire. Any more civilians who die while I'm working on this will be my responsibility. If you want to help, and I applaud you for that, then you need to let my people do our work. You say these people are scared? You're right. What can you do about that? Because I and my people cannot be everywhere at once, and we are blades. We're not voices of comfort.
Minnove is just gonna kind of stay quiet and huff to the side as she, kind of walks around the corner, around the building.
Right. As you're doing so, you sort of catch sight of a larger Rythar individual, sort of on the other side of the building, crouched down, sort of inspecting the ground. Darker fur, significantly darker than Ludviek's. This one's more like mud brown and far more wild and unkempt. Sort of casts you a sideways glance and then returns his attention to the dirt.
Can I roll investigation to kind of smell around?
That is derived from your senses, so that would be perception, but you can do so. You are a kobold, so you get advantage on scent-based perception. Go for it.
Perfect. Perception. That's shit.
That is shit. You're correct. You are, as your raised voice a minute ago that kind of hurt my ears a bit has demonstrated, Minnove is not fully all like composed. You kind of lost yourself a bit, so you're kind of having a hard time focusing your senses through the sort of the scrambling of your emotions.
Mm-hmm.
While Jaka is distracted by Minnove, and Tuki slip inside to do her own investigation, see if she can figure out where things went.
Sure. Make a stealth check. $13. All right. Jaka does seem pretty distracted at the moment. His attention is pretty solely on Minnove. He's like visibly agitated, so you're able to slip in with minimal issue. Sort of creeping towards. Are you trying to just slip in through the door or through a window? What's your game plan here?
Whatever was closest. Like, I just want to get into an area where I can try and see if I can figure out where it came from or where it went without the company eyes on me.
All right. The door would probably be the best one then. Jaka didn't close it after he stepped out. You kind of take the opportunity while his back is turned to step through, and you come out into this sort of large open common room. In the middle, you see a crushed, sort of broken down the middle chair, table rather, with a handful of chairs sort of scattered about. You see a discarded arming sword sort of on the other side among a handful of blood splatters smeared against the floor. Off to the side, currently under somewhat soggen blankets, you see the unmistakable shapes of what are likely the bodies in question. Sort of improvisational body bag coverings.
Can I look around and see anything that would be of help with just arrival, departure?
Well, if you're trying to track something, that would be survival, so you can go ahead and roll that.
Okay.
All right, a 20, not natural. That is very good. We'll come back to that.
Sounds
As
good.
you start to prowl around, we do have other people we need to cut back to. So, shifting gears and tunneling our attention back to the Lambsong Inn. Ludviek, you are going to go retrieve Boron, yes?
Yes, indeed. That is my plan.
How are you doing this?
Well, mostly going up to his door and knocking 3 times, tunt, and then just opening it and saying, Boron! Get up! And then looking to see where he is and his reaction.
Actually, Boron is currently in the process of getting dressed and armored, since it was getting a little late, but...
Excellent! You are awake.
What's up?
There's been another attack by the beast on the outskirts northern part of the town. Another farm and a family. The others have already, gone ahead.
Well, Donald hasn't. He's still downstairs, but...
Yes. I was gonna... I will go check on Donald and just let him know we're going out for a beat.
Yeah, let him stay here.
Yes. Alright, you get finished the rest and whatnot. Don't forget your weapons. And he heads out.
All right.
And then he goes to find Donald's room. I can't remember. Wait, was Ludviek
Donald
with
was
Donald?
Donald was down in the common room with you when this news was broken. He's not in a room of his own right now. You kind of just left him at a table. So.
Yes. All right. So then, Ludviek just hops down.
Yep.
Big mountain man of a lion going down the stairs. It's like, Donald, we're heading out. We'll be back in a moment.
I got that impression. Don't worry, I won't be going anywhere. Just be careful, won't you?
Indeed. And so Ludviek just waits by the door for Boron.
All right. Over the next
And
couple of minutes, I'll say, as you're sort of waiting for Boron to finish getting dressed, it is at this point that, Ludviek, your attention is sort of drawn. You're kind of loitering by the door right next to a window, and you catch a spot of movement approaching the inn. And glancing out, you see, holding a hand to a sort of visibly bruised, sort of bumped noggin, somewhat roughed up looking, maybe some dried blood crested to the side of their head. Impulsive, if you would like to describe your character, please.
Yeah. You know, I don't like how you described that I hit my head. I don't know how you knew that happened today. But anyway.
I kind of posited the scenario for this in DMs, so.
No.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm talking about me, myself, as a person.
Oh. Well, regardless.
How did you know?
Please,
Like,
describe
okay,
yours.
Anyway. So, yes. The individual holding their noggin seems to be another Kraven. I can't think of a third word that rhymes, so I'm just gonna keep going. He seems to have a little bit of a rainbow sheen to his black feathers when the light just hits it just right. He's dressed in some finer clothes, and he seems abnormally large.
So he's looking a bit dirty.
I mean,
Yeah, he looks like he was roughed up a little bit.
Okay,
Yeah.
so this Kraven is looking kind of Slaven.
Yeah.
one.
The Kraven's looked in a little Slaven after he's bumped his noggin.
There you go. Happy to help.
You might need to get a toboggan.
To carry him with. Good idea.
Yes.
Carry on.
All right.
Anyway,
Anything
so,
else aside from that? So he's pretty big, roughed up. All right.
and now that he's also got like a weird little. He's got like a little feather crest, like a blue jay, in the back of his head. Other than that, there's not really anything too notable. As he just stumbles into the inn.
All right. Just kind of comes bumbling in.
Yeah. Bumbling in and sits down.
Ludviek just quirks a brow and is just like, "It is very early in the morning to be looking so haggard. You all right, friend?"
Well, I seem to have slept in a muddy ditch on the outside of the city.
That indeed would lead to a very bad morning. Are you
Yes,
all
and I
right?
think, well, my purse is significantly lighter than it was when I left yestermorn.
Oh, you were
Yes,
waylaid
come
by
on.
bandits?
That seems to be the case. I just remember walking along, seeing the beauty of the sunlight filtering through the green leaves onto the ground below, and then all of a sudden stars. And I thought, stars in the daylight? Isn't that something? Until I realized that, no, it was not stars in the sky, it was stars in my eyes as I hit the ground.
Ugh, a very bad run of luck. You didn't by chance happen to see who hit you?
No. I was too lost in my own thoughts about what I was witnessing to realize, I probably should have been looking at what was in front of my beak. Oh well.
I'd like to do just a quick medicine check on him just to see if, like, he's... just to be sure he's not too bad. Is that okay with you?
Go for it. Roll it.
Okay.
Looking him over, yeah, he's fine. Like he's gonna, like, he has a sore skull, and it was probably bad when it happened, but, like, it's far from the worst head injury you've ever seen.
His head put him into a long rest. He healed from it.
Essentially, what it basically boils down to is someone got really lucky and landed a nat 20 on a called shot to the back of the head to knock him out. So he's just kind of
I didn't
out.
even know that.
Yeah. That's just a scenario we're fabricating to explain why you missed the first 2 sessions.
Yes.
Huh. And to which Ludviek said, after looking him over, just up and down, says, "Well, nothing too bad looks like it happened. You'll probably be sore for a bit. But until then, I suggest you just rest up and, well, if you find out who took your purse, I wish you the best of luck in such a thing. If not,
Yes.
I wish you the best of luck in everything else."
Well, I would hope to find them. I had over 1,000 gold in there.
Really? Oh,
Yes.
You go around with just that much on your person, wandering around and not paying attention?
Well,
Sorry,
yes,
my
when
friend,
you're, I'm sorry, where are we again?
we're
We
in
are-
Lambsong.
Well, when you're, a few hundred miles away from your roost, one would like to bring, traveling expense money with them.
That's quite a bit of an expense. But either way, I hope you do find your thief. If you happen to need any help with that regards, if the other thing I'm dealing with ties down, I'd be happy to help you, if it happens to be along the way. By the way, my name is Ludviek. Ludviek and Lush.
My name is Kari. Wait 1 second. Actually, I have to pull up his name. I'm going to butcher the pronunciation of it because I forgot to look up how it was said.
We did not mean anything by this oncoming cultural insensitivity. We just didn't have time to do our research. We are sorry in advance.
So. Oh, geez, Louise, you've talked a lot. Oh, no, we went too far. My name is Kari. Kari Canu Tradodadiladol.
What?
Well, pleasure to meet you. Did you have something to say, Sketch?
That was just Donald calling over. What? In response to that last name.
It's like,
Tradodadiladol?
What?
well, it's a pleasure to meet you, Kari. I will admit that one is a little tough on the tongue. But it's a pleasure to meet you. And I'm sorry you had to suffer such misfortune.
Oh, it's fine. It's not the first time misfortune has befallen me. Though, if you're willing to sate my own curiosity, what is it that ails you at this moment?
Not so much ails me, but more so ails this town. It seems to be under attack by a beast, and while they had hired a mercenary group to help handle it, it seems like, well, things are escalating not too well. Some of my traveling group, decided to. Well, we're a bit of a bleeding hearts, all of us. Especially because this fine town has been so great to us. We, half of us went out to go see what's going on, and the rest of us are joining them very soon as well. After all, we find ourselves somewhat in the venture of, adventuring, if I might say. And, we've
adventuring, you say?
Yes. We've
You
not
know,
been together long, but we have dealt with a few problems already.
well, if there's anything a group of adventurer needs, it's someone who can tell the tale of their exploits. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Ludviek?
That is quite an interesting part, indeed. Though we did recently have such a teller of tales and singer of songs join us recently. A very small kobold. What was her name again? Minnove. Yes.
Yes. I vaguely recall speaking with her. She seems like quite a lovely individual.
you
Knows a
watching
thing or
that?
two about music. Oh yes, we were supposed to perform last night. I guess Mother Earth called my name instead and demanded I sleep in a ditch instead.
Ludwig's face brightens up. Oh, you were the missing friend she was talking about last night. Oh, well, she'll be glad to know that you're okay. Yeah, looks him up and down, all things considered.
Yes, I suppose you could say okay.
Well then, if you are up for it, and, not feeling like moving, we can go to where she is. She went out towards the farm herself, where the beast had struck. But again, you did
I
kind
will
of
point
have
out-
a rough night.
Quick correction. It's been a bit. Just a quick correction. Minnove left before word reached anyone of the attack because she was trying to find Kari. Or Kari, rather.
That's right.
Ah, okay. Sorry, I thought she headed out first the second everyone was announcing.
Yeah,
And then-
Minnove went out first to try and find Kari because she was becoming worried about him, and then word reached you shortly thereafter of the attack.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Well then, rewind that.
Yep, just a quick correction. We're catching up. It's been a bit.
All right. About a month and a change. It's like, well, I'm not quite sure where she is right now, but I'm certain she will return to the Lambsong Inn at due time. But if you're feeling adventurous as well, you're free to join me and my friend Boron when he comes down. We're going to go, well, see if there's anything that can be done about such beast.
Speak of the devil.
Traveling heroes coming into a town, right? I'm sorry, Skitch. Group of traveling heroes coming to town at the same moment the beast strikes. Sounds like just the sort of thing I'd like to bear witness to. Yes, I believe, Ludviek, I would like to join you and your friend Boron in this quest. At least to take down notes of your exploits and for, future generations to sing and have knowledge of.
It'd be a pleasure.
At this
Yes.
point, Boron will be coming down the steps fully girded in his armor.
Very good. Yeah, he's more like stumbles down the stairs and putting on his helmet and all right, where are you going? Who's that?
Yeah, Boron.
Yes. Oh, I will let you do the introductions.
That's all right, Kari. Boron, this is Kari, a unfortunate bard who has happened to have suffered, a pilfering. Remember that friend Minnove was talking about yesterday?
The kobold's friend, yeah.
Yes. This is he. And it turns out the reason he was absent? Banditry. Purpose is not on him.
This too, all right. Are we taking on the creature or the bandits?
Well, there's not quite information of who those bandits are. He didn't see anything. And quite frankly, with nothing to go on, the only thing we can do, I guess, at this point is go check out what happened with that beast. So, ready to go track something incredibly dangerous and from the under?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, good, because the thing fucking makes me go to my willies. He just shudders. Do not like
Yes,
anything from down there.
Though, if I may allow just one thing. Yes, my full name is Kari Canu Tradodiddle.
Point
yeah,
them all four.
whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
You know what? All right. Hearing that response, he says his name again in Dwarvish.
Lydol.
I have no idea if that's
what
accurate.
He said.
And Boron replies in Lydol, whatever.
Okay, maybe it's my brain, but just reading it saying like that, all I can think of is Totodile.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of Totodile here.
I mean, yeah, I hear Totodile in it every time he says it.
All right.
It's like Kari Canu Totodile or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, so with that, Donald just kind of hunkers down. I was like, I guess I'll just sit here and enjoy some cheese. As you all step out and make your way back for the abode, upon which point we shall return to Tuki with your 20 survival. So you were looking for signs of the creature with that, yes?
Yes.
All right. So looking around, imminent signs of a creature are kind of obfuscated by the carnage that has filled the space. The broken table, the scattered chairs, the handful of bloodstains, and the discarded sword. Looking around, it does seem like you get the impression that there's like some little scrape marks in the floor here and there, is sort of coming in from the hall off to the left side of the room. That could potentially be claw marks left by padding feet. There's not many of them, though. Not enough to gauge much about the creature's size or shape or build, just that it came this way and then left the other way, perhaps. Or rather, came this way and then turned back and left later. As a reminder of the layout, it is, at present, you have one large common room. Off to the left is a hallway that extends a ways with a door on either side. There is a little cubby with a smaller, more like just ramshackle door stapled on by the front entrance of the house, which presumably leads to a privy. The walls are sort of stacked up with various crates and barrels, presumably for storing foodstuffs. Along the northern wall, there is a cupboard with some, a half-prepared meal, a stove, and an empty bucket. Against the right-hand wall are the two bodies under cover. In the middle, there is a table that seems to have been just crushed, split down the middle, with some broken chairs scattered off to the side, a few partially dried blood stains on the floor, and a discarded sword. What would you wish to do?
Well, with that, could I tell which direction it left?
You get the impression it came from the hall and then departed through the hall.
Okay. I'm not sure what else to do inside, so I'm going to go outside and look for Minnove, just to let her know my thoughts on where we could follow it.
All right, so you're going to have to slink past Jaka again, so I need you to make that stealth check again.
All right.
Damn, 23. All right, that's good. So yeah, you sort of peek your head around the open doorway, see Jaka sort of scratching the back of his head, talking to one of his people, and you manage to just scrape by and out with minimal issue. It's just sort of so you manage to get out, You do notice that Jenni has sort of hung back and is just looking on at it all with this just disbelieving look on her face, but has not made any approach.
Okay. Gonna go find Minnove and just kind of whisper to her, Minnove, I have a pretty good idea of where it came from, and it seems to have left the same way. If we can be patient, we can get Ludviek and Boron, and
Yeah.
I'm a little antsy, so we can take it into our own hands.
Yeah. Because these mercs are gonna do anything. You can definitely
Well,
tell Minnove is very ticked off with her conversation with.
Oh no, Impulsive has deafened himself. I just noticed.
You can't stand my voice.
No.
And, it doesn't take any like sight to see that she's very like, this is very much a ticked kind of frustrated, I guess you could say. She's very much
Fair, valid.
very much reading the emotions of the room.
Yeah. So you communicate that to Minnove. Do you wish to start withdrawing from the scene for the moment, or what you doing?
I think
Do you think we should check on Jenni?
yeah, she's yeah. She seemed very just upset by
I
everything.
think you're better with words than I am. Maybe
Yeah.
Ludviek
I don't know
and
about right
Boron
now.
are coming.
All right. Let's go find get Jenni, speak to her, and wait for Ludviek and Boron, and then we will hunt down this beast ourselves.
As a reminder, I do have the let me see, I do have the music room going. As a reminder, I just noticed no one else is in there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah, it's in common links.
What do you mean no one else? I've been here the whole time.
It's like me and one other person. It's just Will. So anyone else who wants the background music and ambience, it's in there. Go for it.
Okay. Oh, good. I'm getting the Orpheus treatment here. I am no one. Nobody has blinded me. Go ahead.
Alright.
All right. Anyway, so stepping back and away from the abode and the mercs doing their work, Jenni is not long in sort of falling into stride near you, and sort of approaches the two of you and actually hushed whispers, "You wouldn't mind gathering up your friends and bringing them back to the inn?"
Well, they are on their way out here already.
Yeah, but... And she sort of steps a little closer to lower her voice. I'd rather not talk about this in the open.
Understood.
Sure,
All right.
we can meet them halfway.
All right, I'll move on ahead. She said she's moving on ahead and sort of picks up the pace to sort of power walk back to her inn.
Well, I guess that's where we're going.
It doesn't take long. It was only like a couple minutes, barely a minute's jog to get to the Bearsmoth's house from the inn. So you're not even halfway there when you see Boron and Ludviek on approach, and Minnove, you spot a familiar Kraven you haven't seen since yesterday morning, with a bump on his head and visibly dried blood stains sort of on the side of his feathers that he's yet to clean out.
Seeing as he's not present, I will be like, we will talk about this later.
Yeah. So Impulsive is still a deaf, and apparently he got something related to a show he runs, so he's have to step away for a minute. We can pause for a second if we want to give him a chance to come back.
Give it like a 5-minute break, yeah?
Yeah, I have a pause button. I can hit the pause button. It won't be the end of the world. I'll hit the pause button. Have now resumed the recording because Impulsive is back. So.
Whoa, I am.
So, as a general reminder, Tuki and Minnove walking side by side back toward the Lambsong Inn. You catch sight of Boron and Ludviek, joined by who to Minnove is a very familiar Kraven that you were supposed to play with last night. And Kari, you likewise spot Minnove walking alongside a Kraven you have yet to meet.
Oh. What? Considering the current circumstances, I can ask about what had happened later, correct?
There's not too much. There's not too much to say, really.
I feel like there's a bit of a story that I'm missing.
Oh, no, I
yes.
just took a nap in a ditch.
Yes, I would love to hear more detail of that when we are not having to investigate a murder.
Oh, it's a murder. I see.
Kinda. Well, remember the beast that was spoken about when we first arrived? Well, turns out it's a Lugarith. Turns also out that it is not a juvenile, it is an adult. It's a full-grown adult. The mercs that were hired here to catch said adult thought it was juvenile for some stupid flippin' reason, and let essentially it go into the ravenous state of murdering another family and their son missing. So 2 dead, one child missing.
It's as I
Jenni?
said, these guys are amateurs, nothing else.
Skijaramaz.
Yes.
I would like to roll to see how much Kari knows about these creatures.
All right. That would be a nature check, I'm pretty sure, for knowledge on beasts and animals, which is not one of your proficiencies.
Somehow.
You rolled a 5. Shockingly, the scope and breadth of all the things you've studied does not include this particular beastie. It must be a pretty obscure one.
In that case, Kari's going to say, I don't know if I can hardly blame them for not being prepared for something that is not very well known in the first place.
Well, the difference
I think
being,
I might have read the name once.
Me too, as well. Though, to be generally speaking, if you are monster hunters or beast catchers, you would know the difference between an adult and a child.
These guys are monster hunters, they're mercenaries, and I don't think they encountered many of these before already.
Either way, Jenni wants us to go see her at the inn. So, unfortunately, gonna have to tell you all to turn back around, and we're gonna go to the inn. Going out for a nice little jog.
Ludviek just makes a face of just like he was getting ready, and he's just like, okay. He's just like, well, then let's go. Spins around 180.
All right, so making your way back to the inn, sort of stepping inside, it's still quiet. There is no one in here right now, other than you see Donald still kind of hanging out back where, but sort of at his seat, and you see that Jenni has found a spot, sort of like she's back behind the bar again, sort of holding her head in her hands and like muttering to herself. She's visibly upset and not fully all there mentally for the moment. Let's just,
Jenny, I do have a question when you have a moment.
Shut the door, please.
I will do so.
Right. Okay. You said you had a question. What was it?
Do you know if the Borosmats owned a sword?
I think they did, yeah.
I was just curious because I saw one inside that was left behind. None of the mercenaries picked it up.
Which probably means that they actually did not get a chance to fight back. Whatever happened must have happened by surprise then.
Or if the men, women, the two there died, well, when you die, you don't tend to hold on to whatever's in your hand. It tends to drop.
My question
It was on the floor.
Where's this child?
I, for one, would very much like to know that too.
Like, does anyone know anything about Lugarith at all? Like, does it kidnap children? What does it need for a child? Or did the kid just run away?
He could have tried hiding when the monster attacked. Maybe the parents told him to run or hide. Then again, that is just supposition.
Well, then, when mercs come, you'd think that the child would come out of hiding.
Maybe he ran far, or hid well.
There's a lot of hypothetical happening.
Nice. Too much hypothetical.
I think what we need to focus on is the creature itself. And, maybe they weren't entirely wrong. What if there was a juvenile? And what if there is an adult?
I haven't thought about
It would explain a missing child, adult bringing back to its children. There are no answers until we find out where it is.
Yes.
Jenni, you wanted to say something, but not in the company of the merc.
Look, the simple truth is, I don't trust them.
Makes sense.
Maybe I'm just paranoid, I don't know, but it all just strikes me as a bit too convenient, you know?
About what?
Look, the mercs were here in town for a little bit shortly before the first attack happened. Hanging out for a few days, just... Jocka said he was just letting his men rest, take a load off, have a few drinks, enjoy a party before moving on to the next site. Then the attack happened, and they were there conveniently to offer up their services. Expensive services, I might add. Very expensive.
We did have that.
You think you may be being scummed, possibly?
I don't know, but what I do know is I've never heard of a Lugarith before, and I sure as hell have never heard of this band of monster hunters.
And, strange I haven't heard of one either, considering I've read a lot of books, and I feel like I would have ran into something like this.
I know most merc organizations that run in these parts, and I never heard of these guys.
I got a bad feeling about him.
So the whole situation is just a little off, yeah? It's not right.
I think we speculated on that as soon as we got here.
It is very
convenient.
If I may ask you, Miss,
her name is Jenni.
He's gonna be snapping his fingers. I'm sorry. I seem to have bumped my head. Could you please? What is your
Her
name?
name is
Barkeep.
Her name is
Je-
Jenni.
Jenni, yes.
Jenny. Yes. How many people have died?
With the bearer's moths added on, if we're assuming that the boy is also dead, 5. If the boy lives, 4.
I will say it is very.
Well, there is a.
No. The Lugarith attacked immediately. The outside building was not destroyed other than a window.
How did the mercenaries describe this monster to us at all?
You have
when
received
we first talked about it.
You have received no descriptions.
No descriptions. You're saying the building itself was only damaged by a window? If this is monster, and apparently, as they say, adult monster, you would think it would do more damage to such a domicile.
Well,
Really depends
not
on what it is.
necessarily. Just look at Minnove over there. Someone could set it as a monster, and she's, small.
Hello.
True. But this is not the way it was being described as like big monster.
Mm.
Tuki,
Well-
you were inside the house. It looked like there was a fight between. Like, did it look like a rat, like a big monster kind of fight, or was it? Did it seem more like I guess for the simplest terms, a bar fight of some sort?
Collateral damage or none?
Well, collateral. 2 people are dead.
Yeah.
But I'm more or less trying to find out because if there's a big monster coming into a little house, fighting 2 people, surely things are going to be destroyed, wrecked, scratched. Absolutely, like it's gonna be chaos. But if it's, say, for example, not pointing fingers or anything, don't know anything yet, but say if it was like a merc or a bigger stature, it would be more of a precise hit.
Well, there were scratch marks on the floor, so whatever it was did have claws. The table was smashed. DM, what? Just because of the way you worded it, it put a question into my head. What? If Tuki compared her feet to the claw marks, would there be any correlation?
Make just a flat intelligence check for me, but do so at advantage because Kraven, and you're familiar with your people's anatomy and whatnot. 18. You are confident that the claw marks you saw are not in any way resemblant of a Kraven. Kraven
I'm
tend
really
to leave
confident.
punctures, not scrapes.
I'm really confident that if you're referring to Jaka, it's not the case.
Well, I wasn't really thinking Jack. Ludviek,
Aye.
can you do me a favor? Jenni, I apologize. But would I ask my my Rythar friend here to scratch something of sort?
Scratch.
If I may, I believe I have an idea that involves a little bit less property damage. Well, Jenny, you being the innkeeper of a smaller town, I would imagine that you possess a little bit of a say around here. Wouldn't you agree?
I believe my opinion is respected in town, yes?
So what would it take to gain... Have the previous victims been buried yet?
That was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Dude, it was long as it's buried.
Well, how long do you think it would take for these new victims to reach the mortician?
Don't know. It depends on how soon the mercs
I
start
could just,
crawling
like,
all over the house.
See, I think we should be looking for, of course, they're going to be horribly maimed, but to see if there's any wounds that are in line with that of a bladed weapon rather than raking claws. Wouldn't, at least that's what I think.
Well, I'd say at this point, I think we're all in agreement that we're going to be looking into this. Yeah?
Yeah.
No doubt.
All right.
Well,
then,
it
Jenni,
seems stimulating enough.
That is why I called you all here, actually. Look, simple fact is, at least 2 more people have died, and these mercs aren't getting anything done, seemingly, and I have my suspicions that they're responsible. I have no proof, but look, I'm desperate. New Lord are here. Donald has spoken glowingly of you. You've been nothing but a delight since you set foot in my inn, and you at the very least appear competent. So I am asking you, I'm willing to pay for you to investigate this and get to the bottom of it, figure out what's really going on and put a stop to it.
Jenni, Minnove's gonna kind of walk over to her, be like, even without you having to say anything, I don't trust these mercs as much as I can throw them. I feel very off about Jaka, and to be fair, all of them combined, never trust a merc, in my experience. I would do this even without being paid.
I would say mostly I as well am quite interested in seeing some safety brought to these people. What has happened to your fair village is most injustice. And if the mercs are up to something, well, we're the only ones who could find anything out about it. Hopefully we can find the boy. That is what I'm hoping. So yes, I too will help.
Wait a second. Isn't the leader of this merc company staying here in the inn?
No. What?
No.
The gentleman we spoke to was part of the mercs. He was Bannon.
Bannon
Right.
Geordie, yeah, he's the spokesperson, the face of the group, the principal negotiator of rates. Jaka, as far as I can tell, is like the leader of the primary organization. He's the one who actually coordinates troop movements. That Rythar he has with him is his second in command.
Right.
But on the grounds that Jaka's a Crovan, he doesn't typically lead the charge in negotiating with people. He lets Bannon and his damned good jawline do all the talking.
How about we have
Harry's
a
just gonna
private
side-eye
talk with this Bannon guy?
Look, Jenny's gonna catch your side-eye Ludviek and say, I said it's a good jawline. I didn't say I like it.
That was me.
Oh, well, either
How
way.
about we have a little chat with this Bannon guy?
I think rather than talking with the merc himself at this point, he would just give us a runaround. I think it'd be best if we return to the scene and try and find a track or anything more clues of what's going on at that last farm.
Not only
That's what I
that.
was going to say.
What was that, Tuki?
I was going to agree with Ludviek. We're doing a lot of speculating when we haven't even followed everything we can yet.
Yes. Quite frankly, at this point, we know too little, and the only place that would have leads would be the most recently attacked farm. Tuki only saw, as she said, a few things there. Perhaps more eyes could find more things, and lead us in some direction.
I know where it came in, and I know where it left. I
That's
say
a
we
good
follow
place to
that,
start.
see where it goes.
I do wish to examine the barrels more.
Well then, let's go.
Just be careful, alright?
And let more people in.
Yes. I mean, that's a sensible idea. I mean, if we immediately just started talking to them, then they would immediately know that we suspect them of something. If they are up to something, we'd be doing nothing but hurting ourselves in the long run.
Until we actually have more, I would calmly suggest we all assume at this point that the mercs themselves are on the up and up. Do not make accusations without evidence. It is a good way to making enemies.
Look at me, I make enemies wherever I go. Let's go, guys. We're wasting daylight.
No, Minnove, the point is not to make enemies immediately.
I can't hear you. I'm already at the door.
Well, then I will follow you to the door and repeat it.
Tuki's gonna follow and be like, you know what? She does have a point. I completely understand her point of view on this.
Right.
I've noticed I've been getting some rather uncouth looks since I arrived here. I think I'm an enemy of many here, despite chance. Well.
If you don't like it, you probably would not enjoy Barbara.
Oh, yes. That reminds me. Miss Jenny. I do not need any payment. I haven't. Oh, I would have enough money as it is. Though, if you could try to find a lead on anyone who might have be bragging about beating and robbing someone who matches my description, I would be most pleased.
If that's all you're asking in repayment for doing this, I'll do my damnedest. I'll put Guppy on it.
I can't speak for anyone else, but just for myself, please and thank you.
I'll put Guppy on it. I'll let you know if he finds anything.
Thank you.
All right.
All right.
So, you all step back outside into the town. A bit of time has passed. The gray clouds have started to clear up a bit, so you're getting a bit of daylight now. A bit of sunshine piercing through the gaps in the cloud canopy. Okay. There's not as much activity on the streets as there was yesterday when you all arrived, but, well, that's to be expected. For one thing, there's not a party tonight to prepare for, and also, the recent death, people are probably hiding, running scared into their homes.
Everyone's scared. Well, I think we have to have a plan. We get to the farmhouse. I believe we should be split into 2 teams of some sort. Teams of tracking and teams of investigating. That's my proposal.
Minnove. On one hand, that is a good idea. On the other hand, I don't want my head caved in again.
Well, don't make your head so easily to cave in there, Kari. You can't...
What is that supposed to mean?
Listen. You're just...
Keep your noggin out of the way, just that.
Look pretty. You got pretty feathers.
Just stand there and look pretty.
Look pretty. Don't put yourself in a way of where you will get your head caved in. It's not ideal.
Don't worry as well. If anyone does try, you could just stand behind my shield.
He's very big. I don't know if you can see him, but he's humongous.
They didn't plug out my eyes.
And that's very good. Count your blessings there, right there, Kari?
And I'm glad they didn't pluck out your feet either. Let's keep moving.
All right, so you're making your way toward the house?
Yes. So, who would like to be part of the investigation and be part of tracking down? Because I personally would really like to beat these no good mercs to wherever the Lugarith resides?
I would say because we're actually heading into a situation right now where we're going to the single building. I'd say let's all just stick together until we've made for certain that there actually is a trail whatsoever. I think there's more in that
Well-
house that could be examined.
Very true.
Quick question, Skij.
Quick answer.
Was
What you got?
investigation a skill that I picked?
Give me a second. I will check.
I remember we discussed it.
Yes.
I
As a
haven't-
reminder of the
Good.
skills you have proficiency in, you have acrobatics, history, insight, investigation, perception, performance, and persuasion.
Okay.
I just know that I am probably best trying to find this beast rather than looking through remains. But I trust
I-
those
I
And
who
I
can
would
do that,
probably be the
yes.
best in that.
And yes, and
Go ahead.
and the best thing you could probably do once you encounter it is become a light snack. No offense.
Go ahead, Tuki.
I have the feeling that I would be very delicious. Have you ever had lizard? Probably not that different.
I had to catch you on
Okay.
the way back to the inn.
That is an interesting sentence.
As for me, I probably would be the best at finding this animal. I'm quite good at tracking beasts, and also knowing my way around the forest or two. Or plains. Or savannah. Or forest.
All right, you guys. Then
But
let's
you know
get
what?
cracking.
Exactly. You know what? I might be actually. I can talk my way. I will talk to Jekka, and we will just
Uh-oh.
make light conversation.
From what it sounded like, he didn't leave the best impression from the way you spoke his name earlier.
Oh, he is absolutely filth. Can't stand the guy.
Oh, he is
But-
absolutely filth. Just love the
even
delivery
with-
on that.
It will
Even with-
give you all. It will give you all the chance to look around and sneak in a little bit more, less noticed. No offense to Boron and you, Ludviek, but I believe you two would be the loudest and the biggest. A lot
And by
harder.
that metric, since it seems you've already poisoned the well, as the term is, with this gentleman, perhaps it would be best actually if I were to speak to him. Fresh face, and he would take his eyes off of you.
I mean, whatever you'd like, honestly. I could be wherever you want me to be.
Excellent. Behind my shield is usually preferable.
I'd agree.
All right.
I'd agree.
All right. So, with Ludviek sort of taking point as you advance toward the house, as you're approaching, you immediately sort of clock that there are still mercs sort of situated around the building, sort of locking it down, but none of you see any sign of Jaka.
Ah, so I might be able to speak to people. Fantastic.
So the mercs here. Were these the same ones here before, then?
Do I
No,
recognize
I don't know. I wasn't
any?
here.
Do I
Uh,
recognize any of them, possibly?
Minnove, make for me an investigation check. We'll use that as recollection.
Investigation.
You have no fucking idea. You were kind of seeing red at the time, so they were all just blobs of color and
Listen,
disappointment.
I just remember there was a Rythar that looked like Ludviek, but like slightly different color pattern.
Like, he was dressed completely differently, too.
Yeah, but like you can't. But honestly, if you were to put him up in a lineup of other Rythars, I probably would not understand which one I was.
And I would take no offense. We do look alike. Anyway,
Well, I'd be able to tell you were different from him, obviously. Like, you have a lot to light over. He does. But,
well, I appreciate
If he-
that.
yeah.
But as it is, alright, so basically from what I got from the previous conversation, at least from the gist that you told us, sounds like they're the mercenaries are quite insistent on handling it themselves, as they say. Well then, I have an idea. At this point, the mercenaries, we're all together. I'm not speaking out too loud that the mercenaries can hear us.
Yeah, I am assuming you're far enough back that you can have this conversation in private.
Yes. Alright, so we do not want them to think that we're onto them on anything, or that we even suspect them of anything. So until then, just pretend they're on the up and up. And I'd say, let's instead say the story is, we're actually in charge. The innkeeper, Jenna, she's asked us to look for the child. While the
Jenni,
mercenaries
yes.
are in charge of... Jenny. Well, Jenny, so that the mercenaries are tracking the beast. They're technically not in charge of trying to find the lost child. And that's what she asked us to do. It is true, in manner of speaking. So, that is why we are here, to try and see if we can find the lost child.
Sounds good to me.
Alright. Well, I'd say we then make our way up towards the home.
All right. So, Ludviek's still taking point?
Ludviek is
Sounds good.
got the front.
Okay.
All right. So,
Minnove is just gonna look like the muscle.
I used to imagine this little lizard with a puffed out chest.
right.
Better than me.
So, Ludviek, you sort of approach and, like, you're a big guy. You're a big lion guy. You wear big armor, and you have big colors. So you stand out like a nuclear explosion as you approach this house, and no one misses your approach. So the center, like, you see one of the mercs, human individual, sort of a little on, like, the sort of greasier side. Looks like he hasn't bathed recently. Sort of long, sort of stringy black hair. Kind of a quirks an eyebrow at your approach. You're a big one, ain't you?
Indeed, quite. My name is Ludviek. Me and my party here have been hired by the local town to find the lost child that was recently, well, missing as a part of this attack. We understand that your mercenaries are handling the monster itself, but they have hired us to make sure that the child comes home safely, if he can be found. Or at least, find his body, so that he can be returned and buried with his parents.
Make a persuasion check for me.
Okay, please work.
12. Well, I'm afraid there's not a whole lot to find in here. Save you some time. No sign of the boy whatsoever.
Was there
Our
any
track
sign
is
of the
already...
creature?
Go on.
Oh no, he does. Don't say anything. Let him continue.
Yeah, he was gonna say, our track has already combed the whole place top to bottom. Pretty sure we can track the beast, at least for a while, but as for the boy, no sign. Only real hope is that if we catch the damn thing, we'll find the boy too.
Ah, so they think that the monster itself took the boy then. Is it common for, what was this thing called again? Pause.
A Lugarith.
Lugarith.
Yeah. Is it common for these Lugarith to take children or prey back with them?
Look, man, I'm not necessarily well-versed in the finer behaviors of the things we hunt. I'm mostly just here to stand around, look impressive, and make sure people don't disturb the scenes of incidents. Most of the finer points of tracking the beast is handled by our tracker, and he primarily only ever talks to the boss. I just stand here and make sure no evidence gets disturbed.
I see. Is the tracker still here?
No. He and Jaka went off to track down the beast a short while ago.
Ah. Well then. Would it be too much then to ask if we might look around? We promise we will not disturb the scene anymore, but we want to see, just in case, if we can find something just perhaps your tracker missed. After all, many eyes equals a new perspective on life.
True as that may be, I'm afraid it's against our company's policy to allow for that. Good-intentioned civilians who don't necessarily have all the right procedures in mind could muck something up without knowing it. No offense.
Ah, yes. Understandable that you wouldn't want civilians on this, but I'm certain you might be able to find that our papers are in order. And he flashes a gold coin towards the man.
Ooh.
Okay.
A gold coin. Make for me a persuasion check again. That is a natural 1.
Uh-oh.
For a total of 4. The guy just kind of quirks a brow at you and says,
Can I get
Friend.
some bardic inspiration, please?
is that how that works? Can you apply?
Bards and no inspirations.
I know, I got 2 bards, and we're just like, we'll let you cook.
You know what,
Fucking, I'm barding here.
it's
I don't feel like a bardic would
You know-
actually
you know
help
what?
you with this situation.
you know what? Kari is just going to whistle a delightful little tune.
Oh.
There you go. Inspired.
Okay. I need to remind myself how bardic inspiration works, so I will read on a new sheet.
It's a D6, I believe, level that you have to roll. So it's just an extra. D6.
Yep. So bonus action on your turn, you choose to choose one creature other than yourself within 60 feet of you who can hear you. That creature gains 1 bardic inspiration die, a d6. Once within the next 10 minutes, the creature can roll the die and add the number rolled to 1 ability check, attack roll, or saving throw it makes. The creature can wait until after it rolls the d20 before deciding to use the bardic inspiration die, but must decide before the DM says whether the roll succeeds or fails. Once the bardic inspiration die is rolled, it is lost. A creature can only have 1 bardic inspiration die at a time.
Okay. Would
So.
Even a 6, if I got it, help me at all in this situation, or am I just rightly fucked?
That
Do you
is
want
up
to try?
you, Field.
I would love to try. I try as much as I can.
All right. So Kari is down 1 bardic inspiration, and you get to roll 1d6 and add it to the result of your roll.
7.
Total of 7. 1 moment. I'm going to give you a fair, if not likely, chance here by having this guy essentially roll a charisma save. He rolled a 4.
Yes!
So, as you sort of flash that gold coin, the guy, the sentry blinks a bit, lowers his voice a little bit, and says, "You got any more of that?"
I believe this shall cover it for now, and maybe more later. After all, there is a reward for finding the boy alive.
Okay. All right. I suppose I could, if it's for the boy and a paycheck, let you poke around for a couple minutes.
It will be like we were never here. In fact, we never were here.
I've heard that line before.
All right, so guess
So
we
you
make our
just
way
give,
through
so
that.
you're just gonna give him a gold coin.
Yes, I already moved it from my inventory.
Nice.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
So then, you know what? If you are now in the building, I think it would be prudent to actually let you see what's going on.
Woo!
Because I actually have a map of the building. Just, just in case shit actually got hostile for some reason.
It almost
Hey.
worked with the
Hey, Kari, thank you for that inspiration. Hell yeah.
So I'm just gonna transition us all over to the map. There's not enough room for me to put you all like way back. So I'm just gonna put the rest of you over here in the corner so you can think about what you've done while Ludviek is right here.
Right.
So, Ludviek has gained entry to the building.
Oh, okay,
You
so
guys
just
are
me,
the
I was-
investigative guys, and I'll keep a lookout for the guard.
All right.
Did you want me with you, Ludviek?
Yeah, he motioned for Tuki to follow. That's what I was going to say. Tuki
All right.
and whoever else has good eyes.
All
I
right.
don't.
Kari? How good are your eyesight?
I would like to roll investigation.
All right, that is one of your proficiencies.
He's investigating to see how good his eyes are.
That is a 12 from Kari. What are you looking for?
A 12 from Tuki.
I don't know.
Well, if you're just
Stuff.
perceiving things, it would probably be better to roll perception. Investigation is deductions
You're
and
right.
finding finer details. Just seeing shit or sensing it is perception. Perception is
You're
locate.
right.
Investigation is scrutinize.
You're right. I'd like to roll perception instead.
All right, we will change that to a perception. That is an 11.
What?
We'll just default to the 12, since the other of the two rolls that came with it was a 12, and we'll just default to 12. All right, so you have a map of the building. You're welcome to poke your noses around a bit.
First thing I guess Ludviek would remember from what Tuki talked about earlier about claw marks. Ludviek, on just a gumption, takes his own claws and like puts them up in comparison to the scratch marks. How much bigger are these claw marks on the ground?
You doing hand or foot claws?
Why not both?
All right.
Let's start with hands.
Starting with hands, this would be an investigation check from you, Ludviek, to sort of make the deduction. Because while 17. All right. It's a little tricky because these claw marks are so finely ingrained into things. It's hard to find the finer specific details. But it seems like these claw marks, if you had to compare them to your own digits, they seem closest to your feet, but it's not exact.
I make one scratch with my claw feet next to one of the other scratches.
Your scratch is a little deeper.
How would I say how in does it look really similar then at that point?
There's a resemblance, but that wasn't quite high enough to conclusively deduce whether or not it's the same type of claw.
Right.
A 17 is good, but it's not good enough for that.
All right, so the best I can say is it's close, but no way to be sure. All right, that'll be my investigation for now.
Okay, Minnove?
Could I sniff around to see if I recognize any smells or any, just in general?
Sure. Make for me a perception check, and you are using your sense of smell, so you get to do so at advantage. That is a 22 from the little kobold. Sniffing around, you detect numerous scents that hit you. You kind of, as you sort of move over to the bodies that are under the tarps and give them a quick sniff, you pick up that they are. You clock the scent of the husband and the wife. It's it's somewhat marred by the coppery tang of blood, but you're able to sort of get past it, pick it up, and there is the smell of another creature here. It smells almost mossy, but also like wet moss near a burning campfire that was not fully properly set. It is a very sharp, bitter stink, slightly accented by maybe a bit of rust? Road dirt, perhaps? Definitely an abundance of pine stink from forestation and wildlands.
Can I use a roll to see if I recognize the smell on any of the mercs that I have met? Such as, Jaka or the Rythar that I had seen prior?
You did not get close enough to the Rythar to get his scent, unfortunately. As for Jaka, his scent, you didn't necessarily focus on it, but it wasn't this either. His scent it smelled more like the inside of a blacksmith's shop. Though there was also the sort of cloying wilderness stuck to him too, though not nearly as intense.
Exciting.
like the comparison is like the first scent, the moss one, is something that lives and breathes wildlands, whereas Jaka smells more like he took an afternoon stroll through it and tripped in some. So it sticks to him, it clings, but it's not nearly as potent.
Would I be able to lift up one of the tarps? Like, not
Sure.
revealing completely, but just like able to like ground and like kind of examine.
Sure, but we'll get back to you in a second because it looks like Tuki is trying to do something with her token, and we've kind of been focused on you for a minute. So, Tuki, what you up to?
I just noticed what looks like drag marks in the bed being a little off kilter, so I was going to see if I could maybe investigate that.
Yeah, I won't have you roll a perception check because your own eyes caught it. I'll let you just have it. Kraven have good eyes. So make an investigation check by all means. That or survival for tracking.
I'm better with investigation.
Okay.
I clicked it. It's thinking.
It's thinking.
Okay.
It's 19.
There we go.
Nice.
Nice.
So, sort of noticing the drag marks, you sort of step into the room, looking around, and you spot sort of like a handful of what look to be little wooden figurines, sort of handmade from blocks of wood, chopped down with axe or knife. Little toys here and there, like a stuffed cloth doll sort of stuck in the corner like a big teddy bear. The bed is a lot smaller in the actual world than I depicted it on this map, indicating that this is a very young child. And the bed is off-center. It is askew. As you're sort of approaching and kneel down, you note that there are indeed sort of like scrape marks along the bedposts where they meet the floor to indicate that the bed was violently shoved. And as you're sort of looking at the drag marks, you also see what appear to be shallow gouges made in the wood in even lines of 4.
Guys?
Aye, yes, Tuki.
I'm pretty sure the child was dragged from the room.
So the creature took the child then, it seems.
Can I follow that as far as it goes?
Sure. Sort of following it, it very quickly leads you to this window in what seems to be the parents' bedroom, where you can see that, sure enough, the glass of the window is shattered inward. There are a few specks of blood along the floor, not nearly as much as out in the common room, just a handful. And the drag marks seem to continue momentarily outside as you sort of peer past. You can make another perception check if you want.
Perception coming up. That one's not as good. It's also just not rolling the first time I click it.
10. That being said, whether or not that drag mark has anything necessarily to do with the scrape marks you saw from under the bed, you can't really tell from here. And you can see that there is another sentry sort of standing by out there, and that one has not been bribed. So, let's cut back to Minnove for a minute, I guess.
All right.
All right, so you were lifting the tarp to investigate the bodies. So, which one do you want to look at first, the husband or the wife?
Whatever one I'm in. Call over.
Okay, we'll say that one's the wife. So,
yeah, over and give me a hand if they are so able.
well, the tarp itself isn't necessarily heavy. It's easy enough to lift that up to get a look. And, well, looking at the body of the wife, you sort of feel like a little tingle of revulsion as the scent of the beginnings of decay sort of hit you. The bodies haven't had long enough to really start rotting truly, but there is definitely a stink accompanying the corpses. And looking at the woman's body, it seems like the blow that dealt her in was a vicious strike sort of across like where her ribs transition to her tummy, where there's just a sort of like gaping rip.
Ugh. I'm sorry. Can I do a medicine check or something of the sort, I guess, to see if I can or I guess I guess it doesn't really matter to you, but see if this was something ravenous, like something that tore into her, or something that was more clean or precise.
That would be, I would say, either survival or investigation. Your pick.
I'd be willing, since I'm right there with her, I could add my my survival expertise, if that would help.
You could either roll individually, or one of you could give the other advantage, whichever you wish.
How good's your investigation?
My survival is better.
Oh, how good's your survival?
I have a 4 to it.
Okay, well, we're even. Then I'll just give you advantage.
Okay. 14. It's a pretty gnarly wound. It's pretty rough. And between all the blood stains and any swelling that might have happened in just the general state of the corpse, you can't really glean if it came from something more precise or something more ravenous. Either way, the wound was absolutely, it was a tear more than a cut. That much, at the very least, you can glean.
Like something bitter.
Not necessarily. Several things can cause rips and tears.
Oh, okay.
Like claw. Like, it's obviously not by some. If it was a cut, I feel like it was sword or something. So whatever attacked her either was not a clean sharp blade, could have been dull, or it could have also been claw, something of ravenous nature. Kari, you are more insightful on this. Would you be able to investigate this further? Nope.
Well,
Fascinating.
I just had a weird little hiccup there. Could you please repeat yourself?
Could you you have more of an eye than I do. Can you take a better gleam at this?
And yes, I suppose I can. And what would it be rolling?
Your pick between survival or investigation.
Does it matter which one?
Not really. You have the same bonus in both, even though you are proficient in investigation and not in survival.
Let's just do investigation.
18.
Okay.
All right. So, with that investigation roll, 18, that is somewhat higher than Minnove's survival. Looking it over, you sort of get a closer look, peer at it a bit. It's still hard to make a determination, but as you sort of glance at it, you do note that the edges of the wound, where like the seam was split in the flesh, it's not quite as rough or as jagged as you might expect from a typical set of animal claws. It's still jagged, but if as an example, if this came from the claws of like a cat or something of that nature. It would have been a cat just after it finished sharpening its claws on a post.
Interesting. Ludviek,
Aye.
how sharp do you tend to keep your claws?
Mostly, nightly maintenance. Make sure they don't get too bad. If you go too long, you can start poking yourself, and it is not comfortable.
Would you be so kind as to,
If you're asking me to cut a dead body, I would be most
No,
against it.
no. That's not. I'm trying to think of something else. How often do you use them as weapons?
Infrequently, but it has come with certain advantages.
Well, he's going to kind of point down and say, would you say that perhaps it would look like something like that right there if you were to do that?
Well, as I've been able to deduce from the claw marks on the ground, it is similar, but I've never actually had to kill anything directly with my claws that wasn't already an animal, not a person. So, I got can I roll something for his memory to see if he remembers killing anything with his claws that would leave a similar? Because we've already established that this is similar, but it's still a bit off.
You can make an intelligence check in general just to sort of see if you can clock whether or not like your claws, for example, would even be capable of something like this.
All right, let me see.
19.
Oh.
Damn.
Okay.
Well, if nothing else, you are familiar with the natural weapons of your people. So whether or not these claws came from something akin to you, you can tell that your claws, as they are, and the average length of claws of your old tribe mates back home would not be long enough to create a wound this deep. You could create wounds this long, perhaps, but not this deep.
Yeah, I'll pass that along. Long story short, I know for a fact we create wounds similar, but my claws have never been long, nor anyone I have known has ever been long enough to make a wound that deep. It would have to be from a bigger creature. Or some sort of tool that is much larger. So it could very well actually be a monster from the Under.
Could also very well still be a dull.
Or a dull blade, yes, that is possible. Or a weapon that's of foreign make. Jagged sword or something, I don't know. Is there anything else you had an idea of, Kari?
I think that's
All right. Well then,
it for the moment for me.
All right. The last thing I can think of, I'd like to have this bigger blood stain. I assume this is probably from the husband. Then, that's my guess at least. Is there any tracks in the blood at all, by chance? Any footprints?
Make for me a perception check. 14. So, looking around the weapon and around the blood stains, you do not see any footprints. You do note a couple of details in the blade, though, that just sort of catch your use. Obviously, the sword has a small amount of blood on it. So if nothing else, you can have some confidence that whoever was wielding it managed to at least get in one hit before they went down. And you also notice that there is a slight bend to the blade, about halfway up its length.
Way up its length. If I were to look at this blade and it's bent, does it look like it was thrust and bent, swung and bent?
Make for me an investigation check to start peering into this more intensely.
Not as good.
I love how we keep forgetting that we have 2 bards with inspiration here to help with things like this.
If only there was a bardic inspiration right about now.
Well, you do know that Boron really knows his weapons.
There is also that.
And he mentioned that he was a smith.
Either way. An investigation of 8, however. Yeah, you're not necessarily well versed enough in weaponry and the like to clock the finer points about how this bend was formed. Just there's the blade goes up normally for a bit, and then about halfway up it just kind of tilts sharply a little to the an angle or two to the side, a degree or two.
Is this a short sword, a long sword?
It's like a standard arming sword. It would be classified as a short sword.
Okay, classic short sword. Okay, good. Ludviek then would like to take that sword, but discreetly hide it in a way.
Make a sleight of hand check.
Oh, damn. Actually, maybe I should have somebody.
Nothing to you people?
Maybe I should have somebody else.
Upon the note of Tuki, we haven't touched on her in a while. Yes. Tuki, what are you doing?
Yes.
Have you just been wanting to do anything else?
Tuki's gonna grab the teddy bear and a blanket and stuff them in her pack.
Okay, easy enough. Go ahead and add those to your pack. I'm not going to necessitate a sleight of hand from you for this because those are smaller things, and also you're a rogue and a thief. It's kind of what you do.
I think I know what Tuki's on there. I think I know what you're thinking.
I mean, I'm definitely going to be telling somebody as soon as we are a little farther away from these people.
All right.
All right.
Well, back
to which then, I would say, Tuki, could you come here for a second?
One moment. Got that in there.
What are you looking at?
This blade. Ludviek motions the blade a bit softer. He says, notice how it's bent? Unfortunately, I can't quite determine what would cause the blade to bend in such a way. But that means that most likely the farmers here did defend themselves. But it did not work. But for something to bend a blade as such? I know Boron said he worked with weapons. He might be able to tell us more. Do you think you could, alleviate the weapon of its place? Okay, quite frankly, I'm tired of speaking fancy. Tuki, can you take the sword and keep it out of sight of the guard out there?
I can do my best.
All right.
All right. Well, I'll make sure to make sure he's properly distracted. All right.
All right.
Well, was there anything else anyone thought of in here?
Could I go back to the bodies briefly, and just see how long they've been dead?
Make a medicine check.
Like if it's happened, specifically what I'm looking at is if it's really happened, like how it's said overnight while the party was going, or if it was like say early in the morning.
I got you. I get what you're saying. Medicine.
I'd be willing to also give her advantage if possible.
You are fairly well. You are much more versed in corpses, so go. Yep, you can give her advantage. So that would bring us up to 21 instead of 5. So with Ludviek's help, you are able to clock that these bodies do seem to. You can't necessarily nail down an exact time of death, but while you were all asleep at the inn seems to be a fairly accurate range. So these people were alive when you were partying, and then they were dead and then they died when you were asleep. So
I have a theory. A game theory.
No.
a game theory. All right, so Ludviek,
That's trademarked.
we are sued. Please
Alright.
don't
What's he
sue
gonna
us,
do?
game theory. Anyways,
He
With
quit
that,
years ago.
With that, unless anyone has anything else they'd like to add this unfortunate, I think now's the time to speak.
Did you want me to roll for that?
I was
I
waiting to see if
was-
Ludviek wanted to follow through on distracting the guard.
Yes,
Gotcha.
I was going to distract the guard. I was going to let it be the last thing that we do.
Okay.
Okay, just in case. The last thing my brain thinks. He just looks inside the privy to be sure, like, the kid isn't hiding in the toilet or something.
No one is hiding in the toilet. It is a toilet.
All right.
Like you,
All right.
like you kind of open it up, you get a whiff of poo, and it's like, yep, that's a shitter. Close the door.
Okay, literally just dotting off that last I.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. To which then Ludviek makes his way out, and lets Kari, and he just motions to Tuki, like gives her a nod, and he comes out and talks to the guard.
All right. While you move to talk to the guard, Tuki, you can make sleight of hand at advantage. 23. All right. So, Ludviek, you're talking to the sentry. What are you saying?
Like, well, from what we were able to see, he's indeed an animal of some kind, and actually, by those claws, very deep. We're talking about a creature here that's probably a bit about the size of a wraithier, possibly, but its claws, much, much deeper. We're talking, he pulls out his claws, at least 3 times the length of these. If you get gutted by something like that, horrible way to go.
That's the warning we've been given by the commander. I don't necessarily know the finer details of a Lugarith, but basic just I understand is that these big, white-skinned, hairless quadrupeds. No fur. I don't even know if they have eyes, really. Big underbite. And claws as long as your thigh.
Oh, even longer than I thought. Well, from
But
what we
then
can
again, that
tell-
also might have just been the hunter trying to scare us into not trying to be heroes. I don't know. Either way, you done?
Well, from what we were able to find, it seems the creature indeed did take the boy. Well, we're going to try and find the tracks of the creature, and hopefully the creature has not has kept him alive. That's the best we can pray for.
Right, well,
And
just,
hopefully in the interim, you and your men can, well, do what you're doing, protect the remaining folk, and kill the damn thing.
that is the idea. Just, you sort of just leans forward a little bit. Make sure you pass some coin my way for the rest of us helping you, track the boy
Oh,
down,
entirely.
eh?
Well, if there is any. I didn't promise much if he... Well, there's not much to be made in a funeral. But I appreciate your help, and... we'll see. If there is something to be made, there is something to be made. And thank you for your assistance.
Hey,
Maybe be able to find the boy.
let's get out of them before my friend sees you. I wasn't supposed to let you in.
Entirely. Thank you. And to which Ludviek makes his way over to the group.
All right, and
And,
I need to
motions-
make a quick roll. Not that it matters, because 23. Yeah, no. As you're sort of walking by, the sentry just kind of gives your group a glance. He does not notice the sword that Tuki has masterfully hidden on her person. Well done. I will return us to the
so,
world map.
Yeah. We make our... I would say the group makes a distance away from the building.
Yeah.
Far enough that we won't be noticed or whatnot.
So what you found out?
I'll let I'll motion to Minnove to tell him.
Well, what we found about the bodies, there's a few things. Deep cuts. Could be of a clean, sharp claw, or could be something of a dull, long blade, or of something of the sort of ragged, rigid. That being said, the bodies were indeed dead by the time morning hit, though not whilst everyone was partying or enjoying the festivities. So they were alive before, and then died whilst asleep. I did happen to catch the scent of something that I hope I'd be able to follow or track down. Very identifying smell. As for Tuki, what did you find in the boys' room?
Well, I thought maybe if I grab these, and I will produce the blanket and the teddy bear. Perhaps with your sense of smell, you might be able to use these to track the boy. I couldn't be certain, but I think that he was dragged from the northwest part of the house.
It's a good as job as any, and
Oh, it's a
this
very,
will
very clever idea.
be plenty enough for me to get some sort of scent on.
Okay.
And if
Please.
he's still alive, we can comfort him with it while we bring him back.
Absolutely.
Also, we found something else that may actually require your expertise, Boron. Tuki,
Alright.
if you will.
Tuki just kind of shifts a little bit and then reaches down the collar of her coat and pulls out the sword.
This was the sword that I believe the farmer used against whatever attacked him. Can you tell what happened to this blade? Because it's bent, obviously. So it was used.
Boron takes the blade and looks at it, looks at the angle it was bent, and he looks like he knows what he's doing.
All
Can I
right.
give him Bardic?
You can give him Bardic, yes.
Yay! Standard
Alright,
arming sword.
Yep, it's
Nice.
standard short sword, classified as an arming sword as far as like actual labeling goes. So go ahead and make for me an investigation check at advantage with Bardic Inspiration.
Alright, that's gonna suck.
Or rather, just add your proficiency bonus because you are
Yeah.
familiar with weapons and tools. Doesn't necessarily have to be investigation. So just
Yeah,
1d20
it's,
plus proficiency plus a d6 from Bardic.
Let me see. Don't I have this? This doesn't have the proficiency doesn't. No, that's I'm just gonna roll d20 and or basically 2d.
Yeah, just do an investigation check, add your proficiency, and
Okay, that is a 14 from the intelligence plus 2 from the proficiency is a 16, and I'm gonna add the d6. That's a 19.
19, and the DC was slightly lowered for you because of your background understanding in forging. Looking at the blade, the first thing you note is that it's competently made, but not finely made. Like, this is a weapon that would like work for a while. Like, you could like gut a pig with this thing, but like this weapon wouldn't necessarily last for very long without some good, tender, loving care. And it has a very slight coating of dullness to it, indicating it hadn't been used much and or properly maintained. So it's an older weapon, doesn't see a lot of use. The blood stains sort of on it are not very deep, indicating that whatever wound it inflicted was very shallow, and the bend is an indication to you of deliberate force. And you sort of catch a detail that the others missed, since you have a bit of time to sort of look it over. As you're examining the blade and the fuller of it, you find that there are shallow scrapes, like evenly spaced, just above where the bend happened.
Oh. Okay, like somebody stepped on it and bent it?
More like somebody grabbed it and bent it.
Okay. Huh. Interesting. Well, I'll let the others know. And also, I'm unsure how wide was the window that this thing came in and left.
It's like about normal window size.
Yeah, that's so like 3 feet, 4 feet.
Something like that.
All right. So
Average windows.
the beast can't be terribly large.
No, from what if you overheard what
So-
the guard said of how the commander described it, has to be humanoid-sized. Walks on all fours.
Yeah. So smaller than a large bear. That just doesn't add up. Like, this creature, which is definitely a killer kind of creature, going in there, killing 2 people, doesn't eat them, and heads back out with a child. That makes no sense at all.
Maybe it is a monster that prefers the taste of children.
I
There-
am beginning to think, that's just crap.
Well, there are
Um,
creatures. There are creatures that are of magic in origin that are very peculiar with their eating habits. But you're right. It is quite suspicious.
I'm beginning to think Jenni might be onto something.
Hmm.
Okay, let's try and see where we're going with the trekking.
Well-
Or Minnove will take a quick scent of the teddy bear and blanket and be like, at the very least,
Sniff, sniff.
find where the kid is. And where we find the kid, we might find the beast.
All right.
Tuki, you said you saw the trail go to the northwest?
Well, I wasn't sure. I saw drag marks, but I wasn't positive if it was the creature coming or going.
Well, we can make our way around the building, northwest of it, and just see if we can find any trail of any kind.
Well, we don't need a trail. Minnove will point her nose. And
Oh, you already picked up a scent?
well, I can sniff around, and that will be the trail.
So-
I see what you're doing. Very clever.
So,
Also, the
Minnove sort of
beast must have lost at least a little bit of blood. Maybe you can smell the scent of the beast, if not of the boy. And
I have both. I have all.
very good.
right. So we're coming up on time here. So Tuki passes the blanket and teddy bear to Minnove, who takes a few seconds to sort of get acquainted with the scent. Also, the scent of the blood from the sword. You sort of get them locked away in your head. Tracking them will be trickier when you're actually in the field, but you at least have a scent to follow. And with your suspicions mounting, evidence accumulated, though not all of the dots connecting just yet, you set your eyes northwest. And as you set off to continue your little investigation in the hopes of finding the boy, if not alive, then at the very least finding a means to avenge him, that's where we'll pick up next time.
Yay!
Yeah. All right.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
That was,
Very cool.
yes, that was. And I got to be well rested because we started at 8 p.m. instead of noon. I got to sleep.
Somebody did not, but that's okay.
Yeah, you got enough sleep
Don't
that you
speak for
function.
me.
Yeah, right.
All right. So, thank you all, ladies and gentlemen, so much for joining us for this session of Ringlight Fables. We'll see you next time. Until then, take care of yourselves, keep listening, and don't be a dick. Bye-bye.
You can't tell me what to do.
Bye.
Alrighty. Everyone's an investigation master today. It's just like spread out.
I
like clues.
have a theory